Um, because when I lived on 15th Street, we had some very strange occurrences. And no, I'm not gonna say it like that. We didn't have other people had strange occurrences, but when we first moved in there, we all came to the conclusion that there was something there, but it didn't mean us any harm.
Sure,
And
yeah.
so, and our house was like old. It was like, if I had to take a guess, it was like the oldest house on the block, because everything else I think was pretty much apartments, and ours was one house, and it was the smallest house on the block, the shortest house on the block as well. And
I remember.
were you ever in there?
Mhm. Once or twice.
Okay,
Once or twice. Yeah.
okay. So we
It's really
had,
like
huh,
dark and low. It was
huh?
like a dark low. It was like dark and low.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was dark and low and dusty and creaky and all of this. And so we had this, it was like three floors, and I lived on the third floor in the front room when we first moved in there. And but towards the back of the house on the third floor, there was this room that was like behind the bathroom. So like you could come up to the top of the steps, and there was this bathroom, and then there was a door that had a hallway that went to a room that was behind the bathroom. We never went in there that much. And I mean, we had no reason to go in there because it was too small to live in. And there was a safe like blocking the hallway. Like, so the hallway was narrow, so you had to like inch around this like safe. So apparently the safe was back there, and someone tried to take it out, and they got as far as the hallway, and they were just like, forget it. And so it just
Yeah.
sat there, you know? And it was, but this was okay. And but sometimes, even though there was a lot of people there, there was often lots of time when no one else was at home or whatever. And yeah, you could kind of hear little things or whatever, but it wasn't anything like too alarming, but you kind of could feel it because we talked about it. There was like maybe five of us. One, two, three, four, five, six. There, six of us moved in there at the same time, and then very soon after, it was just like, "Yo, something feels," but it never really did anything or whatever. And then after I got like super comfortable, I would like be coming home super late and walking through the house and never even cut lights on. So I come all the way up the steps in the dark and everything, and it never really bothered me or anything, right? But when I moved to New York,
Mm.
um, the guy I rented it out to I rented it out to a friend's, and he moved into my room when after I left. And now I don't know if, well, two things happened because someone else did move in there much later, and he said that he actually used the words, "I feel like there's something in here trying to punish me."
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's scary.
yeah, yeah. And then I told him about the thing. I told him because this was now years later, and everyone that had been living there that moved in with me were all gone. I was like the last original person, and I told him, I was like, "Yeah, there might be something in here, but I don't think it's trying to do anything to you, or whatever." Right? So
That's so crazy.
I don't know. And so the guy that moved in, he called me. He was like calling me from New York it like started ramping up in frequency, but I think it was all within the first um month. I don't even know if he lived there more than 2 months or whatever, but he he said like, "What's up with this light and stuff moving under the door. Like he was like, when I have the door closed, I can see things under the door, like moving through the light.
Wow.
And I was just
Wow.
like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, I don't know. Like I never saw anything. But then I told him again. I was like, we talked about this thing being here, but you know, I don't know nothing about no shadows and light moving under the door. So, cause like at my door was all the way at the front, and that's the hall. Like there was a room next to me, but there was a hall outside of my door, all the way down to that room with the safe in the hallway, because that had a
Right.
door to that hallway. So then he calls me back another time, and he was saying that he thinks that the neighbors have a way to get into the house. Like he was like, I think they're somehow coming through the wall. He was like, I think they're opening up the wall and coming through. And I'm saying to him, I'm like, man, if you think someone's coming into the house, don't call me. Call the police. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
I,
know what to tell you, right? I was like, I don't know what you're doing over there, but there's, he's starting to sound, you know,
coming undone.
coming undone, right? So then there was another time he called me, and he was in the attic, which was above, I lived on the third floor, and to get into the attic, you pull the steps down in that hallway, and he calls me from up in the attic, and he's like, dude, there are people in the attic right now. He's like, they're behind
Oh,
some boxes. He's like, they're behind some boxes over there in the corner, right? And I was like, man, yo, what are you talking about? And then one of my other roommates that was in the house calls me on the other line, and she's like, yo, he's freaking out. She's like, I don't see anybody, and I can hear him I'm on the other line, but I can hear him through her phone saying they're right over there. They're right over there. And she's like, dude, there's nothing there. I don't know what's going on with him, right? So, and all I can say to him is, don't like, I can't help you. I'm in New York. Like,
if
call the
people are
if
in your house.
call the police or whatever. So then I think the last thing that happened was, I don't even remember exactly how that resolved, but when she said there was nothing there, and I was like, all right, man, maybe he's just, I don't know. And so the next thing that happened is the guy that said that he was being punished called me because that other roommate attacked the neighbors next door.
Oh
Like,
my God.
apparently, like, he saw them at the door, and then I think he tried to go in their place and attack the neighbors, because I guess this is who he thought was coming through the wall.
Whoa.
And like, the police came, arrested him, put him in I think they committed him. And so he called me to see if I knew how to get in contact with his family or whatever, to let them know what had happened or whatever. And it was, and I uh, I couldn't. I knew he had another brother there, but I couldn't find his brother. And the only thing I could do was, like, I knew his ex-girlfriend who didn't live in Philly anymore, so I called her to get his parents' number so his mom could come to Philly and get him out or whatever. But very soon after he left the house, I don't, so
Yeah, like was he mentally already unraveling, or did that place do that to him,
I
or
mean,
was that sounds so scary?
well, I mean, I don't know if I would say yes. I would say yes. Um, because I don't remember. I actually think I I think he moved to, if I'm remembering correctly, he moved to New York a little bit after I did. Like I think he moved out of the house and I was already pissed at him because he like moved out at I think it might have only been 1 month because he moved out at the end of the month and then was like, on a day's notice, you know, or he stayed over the month and then he no it was someone else tried to like move out on the last day of the month and then not tell me until that day or whatever. What he did was he moved out early and he wanted me to prorate his rent, and so
Oh,
I was like, come on, man, like anyway, and it wasn't expensive either because it's the old, you know what I mean. And so I saw him in New York or whatever, and yeah, he didn't really seem the same, and I don't think he's ever been the same since. So,
wow.
so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but whatever. I don't
Um,
know if it was that because it never did anything to anyone else except for those two.
I think certain people are more susceptible
Yeah,
to the vibes.
yeah,
Like that's all I can say. It doesn't sound very scientific, but it's like some people are more clued in than others.
yeah.